I started stuffing the kittens in my overalls on set.
They don't have the investment infrastructure. The Dan Jenkins of the world don't have this much junk in their shorts. I certainly wanted to get that Montana dialect correct. So I worked with Jessica, I'd worked with her on Flight and True Detective and all these other American accents I'd done.
I saw what you were doing to those poor women. You're experimenting on them. It's sick.
I pick all the gifts. I love giving presents. I just had her actually do the buying.
We can make a deal. Right here, right now.
And then I remember just dripping with sweat and everybody seeing the rushes apparently, and it just looked like we were in a shower.
No, you idiot. Patient had low opening pressure on his LP. Try unsquinting your eyes and reading the labs next time.
That's the whole point. I'm not really an American. That was a deliberate mistake that I put in there, which I didn't at all.
Yeah. For my hero, I chose my dad. And for my visual aid, I made a diorama of our cabin. Yeah, and I absolutely love this show. I feel so relaxed when I'm here, and that's because of you. You're just so good at your job.
Look, man, thanks for looking after Sid this weekend. Remember, no human food. He's got IBS.
For me, it was like realizing it's not an impersonation, it's an interpretation.
Oh, so you write for a men's magazine. God, does that make you an expert on being a man?
I couldn't say that I was better than anybody else or I did a better audition. I just think that David Fincher homes in on what he wants, and it happened to be me.
I feel sorry for you, I really do. I just wish you'd bear it better.
Yes, I did always know I wanted to act ever since I was a wee little girl.
I just ran into Jeremy Branch. He's fine, but he booked his trip through someone else. So what happened? I can find my own among these dirty streets.
Gosh, I thought it was really good. I'm a terrible drawer, so.
By the way, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is why I go to therapy. So I'm like, damn, there's some intense watches in here.
What would happen were a marriage such as mine, and even in fact, mine, if that were to falter to the point of failure. We'd hear rumors that we might be going on a yacht or in episode 8, but you didn't know why.
Look, I just want to spend some time with MJ. We were talking about Paris and I think she really likes me. Toby and Andrew would come to set in a cloak. Yeah. It was like something out of Star Wars.
There is an idea of a Patrick Bateman, some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me.
I always imagine that I'm gonna get to set and the director's gonna go, I don't even like this scene. Make it up, and I've got to be ready for that.
I'm gonna be 33 years old pretty soon, and in hardcore women age like bread, not wine.
I have such a naturally high-pitched voice, I think, and I guess that just comes from anxiety, I guess. So it's quite nice to be able to become unhinged like that.
It just feels so wrong to be this happy when other people will never get that chance again.
So Grace was my first American accent role, and so I still screw up every single day.
Civil liberties are being trampled on in your city. Good people living in fear.
He's representing everything that is good about mankind, despite the fact that mankind may not be good to him.
I told you over and over to drop this story, that it was a bad idea, but you refused, and now I'm screwed.
I wasn't into football until I was roughly around 16, and I moved to London. They were the first team that I watched, and I used to play FIFA.
So Beckman and Schmidt did an emergent valve replacement. We still need to follow up on blood and tissue cultures, consult ID, and cardiology.
Those young years when they're really wee, as they say in Scotland, when you're really wee.
Really wee.
Really wee. It goes so fast.
It's a total time suck, not to mention a huge waste of money. I mean, God.
And people are quite surprised that I'm not American, and also they're surprised that I'm not a complete.
In the absence of justice, the court can't punish this man. And I urge you to do so, to the fullest extent the law allows.
Last night I was in the restaurant at the hotel, and my dear friend Eddie Redmayne walks in.
I think he stands for what you stand for, sir. Protecting innocent people from bad guys.
Whoever gave you that idea that you couldn't do things, I want to have a stern word with them. He was that kind of avuncular, kind of caring mentor figure.
And I read them too. I read your indictment after I got your call last night, and I bought your book. No, it actually makes me a lot more sort of considering my performance.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, in Old French, the word Versailles
means something like terrain where the weeds have been pulled.
Which they have because they're Welsh. We are a magic people, constantly doing magic tricks, which is why we need to say, ta-da!
I was told if I want to sit down, I had to make the message clear. I did. Your snitch ain't gonna be talking about anything for a very long time.
I emailed you at about 4:30 in the morning apologizing for being the least charismatic guest you'd had in the history of your show. So this is my redemption tour.